Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, we're going to be talking about the new details and features of the gun running update, and I'm going to be answering all the questions that you guys have had for me. So just a couple things before we get started. Number one, I am not going to be answering questions that have an immediate answer, like if they can be found on the newswire or already answered in the trailer or the screenshot. I'm also not going to be discussing how much money you're going to need. I've done a couple videos on that. I'll leave a link to that in the description. About 50% of the questions were about money. I get it. This is going to be an expensive update. And also later today, I'm going to have a pretty cool surprise coming out for you guys. So stay tuned for that. It'll be really cool. Anyways, moving on, let's jump into our first question today, which comes from Michael, who says, do you think there will be more cars drip fed other than the ones we have seen in the trailers and screenshots? Absolutely, Michael. I think so far we've seen 9 vehicles, 8 if you include both versions of the APC. So that leaves us with about, 11 cars that we haven't seen yet. So yes, there's going to be a ton of drip-fed content in this update. I've stated for a long time that I think gun running is going to last at least a month or two after it releases, probably sometime into August, possibly even September. And as far as will we see more cars than what we saw in the trailer? Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how many, but I certainly don't believe Rockstar has shown off everything. I mean, if you take a look back at the import-export trailer, Rockstar only showed off a handful of the vehicles. In fact, they didn't really show off many of the civilian cars. So I also think that is hope for people that are still looking for civilian-type vehicles in this update, because as of right now, they've really only showed like the DIY Mad Max-style military vehicles that we're going to be getting, which, don't get me wrong, are extremely cool, but I definitely want to see some civilian stuff sprinkled in there as well. Moving on, our next question comes from Duramax Kid, who says, how many bunkers do you think we'll get, and do you think they'll have different sizes? So I think we know that there's 3 confirmed locations so far, if the artwork is correct. I think there's going to be around 5 or 6, something similar to the CEO offices. I don't think there's going to be as many as the MC clubhouses. I feel like those were a little bit easier to add into the game because they were regular buildings. These are a little bit more intrusive, as Rockstar have to literally add bunkers into the game. So I think there's going to be 4, 5, or 6, and I feel like they're all going to be scattered around the Grand Sonora Desert, which is where we've seen them right now. And I don't know. I think they're going to be like the CEO offices, where all the interiors are going to be the same. They will definitely be customizable, so the only difference in the bunkers is going to be the location. Now, again, that is just my speculation, but I think it would be pretty complicated if Rockstar had different sizes for these bunkers with different features, different abilities. That's just my guess, but I think they're going to keep things simple, make them the same size with different customization and in different locations. Our next question comes from Warfighter, who says, how many people will be able to work for you in your gun running business, such as 4 associates for the CEO? So CEO is 4 total, not 4 associates. I think it's either going to be 4 or 5. There's a couple screenshots that are contradicting. The one with the MOC, the trailer that's driving down the road, it looks to have 5, because you would have someone driving the MOC, and then you've got 2 vehicles on each side for a grand total of 5. But in the rocket bike mission, there only seems to be 4 bikes. So I'm not exactly sure how many we're going to have. My gut instinct is telling me that it'll be exactly the same like the CEO system, so we'll have 4 total, but at the same rate, Rockstar might want to switch it up and make it a little bit more powerful than the CEO, giving us an extra associate, which I know I would enjoy, as many of you guys are always asking to be my associates, and that extra space would definitely help out a lot. Moving on, we have a question from Dan, who says, why do you think Rockstar released the gun running DLC at Tuesday the 13th and not before or after E3? I know it is kind of a bummer that we've got all these brand new announcements of games and consoles, and we've also got the gun running DLC coming out as well. Now, quick reminder, I will be at E3. I have stated this in previous videos, so on the day the update comes out, I'm going to be doing my best to have videos and content. I'm working hard with my team, but I won't be doing a live stream till I get home, which will be on Friday. I think the bottom line from this is that Rockstar really just doesn't care about anything else that's going on in the world. They're going to do what they want on their own schedule, and I think them releasing this at E3 really is exactly what that means. Our next question comes from Georgia Dude, who says, do you think we will see the return of the Independence Day special content? I think we're going to be getting more than that, Georgia Dude, since it's unlikely that Rockstar is going to have another big DLC soon. I can see a lot of the tunables content added with this update being for a brand new Independence Day special. They haven't done one of these in nearly 3 years. They've only done one in 2014, and every other year they've just added the existing content back into the game. So I think this year would be perfect for a brand new set of Independence Day special vehicles, content, clothing, weapons, and so much more. In my opinion, that would be absolutely awesome. Up next, we have a question from Trevor, who says, do you think that the cargo plane will be coming with the Gunrunning DLC? In a way, yes, it will, because there's going to be a weaponized vehicle mission featuring the rocket bike that's going to have us jumping out of the airplane. But as far as the cargo plane coming into the game, being able to buy it, no, I don't think it's going to be added into free mode. We've seen Rockstar do this all the time, even with the import-export special vehicle missions where they had vehicles that aren't available in free mode but are available in the mission. So I think that's going to be the case. We won't see it in free mode, but we will get it in the missions. Our next question comes from Taylor, who says, why don't you think there will be any air vehicles added? So that is what a bunch of credible leakers have said, as well as the fact that there's not any new air vehicles in the trailer, that there's not going to be any new aircrafts. And now this is just pure speculation, but the rumor I've heard is that Rockstar could do a Gunrunning Part 2 that is featuring more of the aircrafts, because it looks like Gunrunning is going to be about anti-aircraft with everything we've seen so far, the trailers and the APC tanks. What about a Part 2 version of Gunrunning that adds more powerful aircrafts into the game, like the Rustler and the Hunter and vehicles like that? Again, that's pretty cool, and again, it is just speculation, but as far as why there aren't any air vehicles in this version of Gunrunning, I don't know. I guess Rockstar just didn't want to, saturate the aircrafts any more than they already have in the game. This next question comes from Devil Z, who says, do you think there will be the chance to buy the vehicles as the expensive version or the discounted one, just like with import-export? Yes, I absolutely think that's the case. I'm not exactly sure if the vehicles are going to be locked at the start, like you have to do the mission in order to unlock them. If that's the case, then the answer would probably be no. But if you get them from the start by default, I think that, yeah, if you want to do the mission and you complete it, it'll probably give you a discount. We've seen Rockstar do that a lot recently, so there's no reason to think that they wouldn't do that with the Gunrunning vehicles. I think a lot of people enjoy that, and it encourages them to play the missions in the game, which I'm sure Rockstar love. Our next question comes from C4 Forever, who says, will we get new types of ammo, like explosive or flammable? I think that would be really, really cool. Now, Rockstar has not mentioned that, but they have mentioned a bunch of weapon upgrades, so I wonder if weapon upgrades also include ammo upgrades. So oddly enough, in the ammunition store, there's actually boxes. They're just props, but it's different types of ammo, like hollow point and stuff like that. And also in the trailer, it looks as if we saw someone shooting like a Dragon's Breath shotgun round. So I wonder, again, if that'll be an upgrade. We really don't know at this point, but I think that that would be so awesome if it was included. Moving on, we have a question from Oscar, who says, do you think that the guns will be something similar to Benny's, where you have to pay a price to change it into a custom or Mark II version? Yes, I think it's going to be very similar. You're going to take the regular weapon you have, you're going to bring it to the White Coat Lab staff, and you're going to say, hey, upgrade this. And I don't think it's going to be instantaneously. I do think there is going to be like a wait, whether you pay to have it go quicker or whether you do a certain mission to maybe get the supplies for them so that they can start doing those upgrades. That I don't know. But yeah, I think it's going to be exactly like Benny's. You take the regular version to someone and they upgrade it to the Mark II version. Our next question comes from Nitrous, who says, do you think the MOC will be destroyed, for example, with 5 rockets, or will it be destroyed with only 1? This is one of the most interesting things, because if the MOC becomes a property, how will it be destroyed? Like if you could sleep in there or spawn in there. I think this is going to be one of the trickiest things that Rockstar is going to have to balance here, because you don't want this mobile operations center roaming around the map and have it indestructible. People would use that and it would be way overpowered. But at the same rate, you don't want it to be destroyed by one sticky bomb. Otherwise, it's going to be worthless, especially if it's hauled by a big tractor trailer, because we know that's going to be a little bit slower than normal. So that balance right there will be very interesting. My guess is that when it becomes a property, like if you're sleeping in it, it's going to be stationary and it will be indestructible. However, when it's on the road, you won't be able to sleep in it, and that's when it could potentially be destroyed by something like rockets or a sticky bomb. Our next question comes from Savage Gaming. He says, do you think we will get a free vehicle when we buy the bunker, just like the Bikers DLC? So with the Bikers update, I think it was the Rat Bike that was free, or at least you got it by default. I don't think that's going to be the case with this one. Number one, the Rat Bike is really cheap, so that wasn't anything out of Rockstar's pocket. But also, number two, we never got that with import-export in the special vehicle warehouse. They weren't just like, hey, here's a free Ruiner 2000, enjoy this. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think we are unfortunately going to have to buy all of the vehicles, but that is probably to be expected. Matthew says, do you think we will receive a new adversary mode in Gunrunning? Are you kidding me? We're going to have at least a minimum of multiple adversary modes, and regardless of if they're good or bad, you'll play them when the double money and RP is out, and then once that's gone, you'll never touch them again. So yeah, there's likely going to be adversary modes. We've seen them in every single update. Aaron says, will we be allowed to have 2 vehicles out at the same time, like the MOC and the Dune Buggy? I wouldn't think so, Aaron. I would imagine they would act like normal vehicles where you can't have 2 Ruiner 2000s out, or you can't have a Rocket Voltic and a Ruiner 2000. I think it's just going to work like Pegasus and the personal vehicles. You're only going to be able to have 1 out at a time, so you're going to need to rely on your other associates and crew members in order to have other appropriate vehicles out so that you can get the missions done, like the APC tank or something like the Armored Tampa. And our final question today comes from Brandon Randall, who says, how many people do you think you can have in your bunker? Now, at first I thought this was a dumb question, but I started thinking about the differences between like vehicle warehouse, biker clubhouse, and the CEO office. So the vehicle warehouse, you can only have the people that are in your organization. MC Clubhouse, you can have, anyone in there. You can just invite them. But the biker businesses work the same way. You can only have the people that are working on the biker business. So I think that it's going to be just the people in your organization, so the 3 or 4 people in your militia. But who knows? These bunkers might be massive enough where Rockstar may consider them to allow them to have everyone in the lobby in there if they really wanted to. That's a good question, but that is all I've got for you guys today. Our final Q&A video before the Gunrunning DLC releases in just a few short days on Tuesday. As always, let me know what you think about Gunrunning in the comment section down below. Are you excited for it? If you want to get involved in one of these Q&A videos in the future, all you got to do is go down in the description, follow me on Twitter, use the hashtag AskBoss whenever I'm looking for Q&A questions, and you might find yourself featured in the next one. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.